When can I start? Please let me start. It's almost time. Time to start. It's almost time to start. I hope this works. I hope I'm coming through to you now. Let me know how it goes. Thank you, YouTube, for starting up my stream. Theoretically, I think it has started. I never know with these things. It's technology. You press buttons and you assume things are doing what they're supposed to do. It looks like I got my microphone working, my camera working. I got the stream going. What's going on, you guys? Welcome to Talking the Orville on Egotastic FunTime Road to Renewal. That's right. We are all on the road to renewal. How are you guys doing today? What's up, Sci-Fi Mombi? Howdy, tech. Gotta love it. Exactly, Sci-Fi. Archmage Frey. Sometimes you gotta punch a mic. Well, I don't want to punch my mic. It'd go flying. This is my little microphone. This is my little Elgato Wave 3, you guys. I can make it really close. Hello. Hello. Musical episode? What? That's coming up this Thursday with Star Trek Strange New Worlds Rhapsody, something Rhapsody. I don't know, something Rhapsody. Anyway, I'm going to check it out. Strange New Worlds, the very first musical episode of Star Trek. I hope it's fun. I hope they have a reason to do it instead of just being a musical. I hope there's a good reason. Maybe they hit an anomaly. Maybe there's some sort of being that's making them do all of this in order to, maybe they're practicing musical because they come across an alien race. This is an idea I had for the Orville. Though I do know that David A. Goodman never, ever, ever wants to have a musical episode of the Orville, though a lot of us thought it's a fun idea. I was thinking, oh, there's a race of people that you got to do a first contact with. You got to impress them. And they speak completely in music or, you know, musical numbers, things like that. Or it's a big, you know, ceremony that they do or something like that. Anyway, I hope the music side of the new Star Trek episode coming up this Thursday makes sense. I think they might be able to make it make sense. It seems Strange New Worlds has been trying to come up with this, trying to do a Star Trek. So we'll see what they come up with. I have no complaints until I see it, so I won't know if I like it or don't like it until this Thursday. But yeah, I'll be watching it. Subspace. So many things in subspace, Archmage. There's subspace relays, subspace creatures, subspace travel, subspace, not message, though you could use the word message, but my favorite thing is the subspace communique. What's up, Cherie? How you doing? DJ129. Hey, Ego, did you hear about, that's what we're just going to talk about. Okay, DJ brought it up. I was going to talk about this. This just came out today. Seth MacFarlane. I think you guys have probably heard of him. Seth MacFarlane, because of the strikes, we've been talking about the strikes. There's 2 strikes going on right now. The SAG strikes, where all the actors are on strike because they're not getting paid because of streaming. And they're tired of it, not getting paid for their work on these streaming services. And streaming services is the only work there really is nowadays. And then the writer's strike. And the writer's strike started first. I believe that started back in May. Where the writers aren't getting paid for their work, probably because of streaming stuff as well. Seth MacFarlane is not only an actor, director, producer, this, and that. He is also a writer. So double duty for Seth MacFarlane. But Seth MacFarlane, it was just announced today on Variety.com. Seth MacFarlane donates $1 million to Entertainment Community Fund. There's a fund going on for the actors on strike and the writers on strike to help them pay the bills while they're not working right now. Studios will be able to pay their bills. They got all that money. They got money for days, son. So there's a fund going on, and some people have been donating to that fund. I don't think they've really raised as much as I would hope that they would have, but we'll get to that. Seth MacFarlane donates $1 million to Entertainment Community Fund to support film and television workers during strikes. Double the strikes. Now, why are the strikes important to us as fans of the Orville and Seth MacFarlane and Fuzzy Door Productions and the entire cast and crew? We are fans, not well, fans, supporters of the strike because we want our people, the people we love of all the TV shows and movies that are out there that have been coming out to get paid. But the Orville says very recently, they say that if they're going to make any kind of announcements, and I feel like they have some announcements to make when it comes to further seasons, episodes, content from the Orville, that they're going to do it after the strikes are over. And, you know, fans get a little, you know, negative. They want news now, but the Orville says, no, we're waiting until after the strikes because I think they got some news to tell us. So this is important for the strikers to you know, get some help. And Seth MacFarlane is helping. He donated $1 million. I can tell you, Seth MacFarlane, I can tell you personally, from things I have witnessed with my own eyes in person, Seth MacFarlane is a very kind gentleman. He's a very good guy. I don't know if he's always been a good guy, but he's lived his life and gotten to a point where now in his life, I feel he is a very good guy. He cares about people. He cares about fans of his projects. He cares about the people he works with. He cares about the idea of creation, of creating things for other people to enjoy. He cares about that, and he cares about the people that does. He cares about you, and he cares about you way back there, way behind on the back of the stream. He cares about you guys too. Now it says there's been recent donors, also include Greg Berlanti, Vince Gilligan, tread lightly, Shonda Rhimes, Michelle Pfeiffer, you know, the original live action, well, not really the original live action Catwoman, but from the Tim Burton world, I guess. Michelle Pfeiffer, David E. Kelly, Steven Spielberg, and Kate Capshaw. Now, I do know The Rock has made a big sizable donation. We don't know the amount. A big sizable donation, but he's not listed in this story, which I kind of find weird. Are people hating on The Rock, or did he just get missed? Seth MacFarlane is donating $1 million, it says, to the SAG-AFTRA and WGA strikes because he's a member of both. It's called the Actors Fund. They have, he donated $1 million, right? The fund has raised more than $6.3 million since May 1st, which is months and months and months. It's been around, I guess, at this point, from 7,500 donors. So, you know, a lot of people donating small amounts. You got just a couple of people, it looks like, have donated large amounts, like Seth MacFarlane donating $1 million. Other stars, I would think it would be 20 or 30 or higher million at this point, because there's a lot of big stars out there that could be donating to this thing, and I know they care about the cause themselves. Anyway, that's what's going on right now in the world of Seth MacFarlane. And like I said, we have been told very recently from the Orville production, for those of us who have been asking for updates, they say we're waiting till the strikes are over. And then on my own side of things, my own feelings, I think they got some news. But like I said in the previous video, we don't know what that news is. More Orville. I'm pretty sure it's going to be more Orville. I could tell by the tone of their voices when they were talking to me that it's happy news. But I don't know if that means it's going to stay on Disney, because we know Disney Plus is in trouble right now. All the streaming services seem to be in trouble right now. Well, it was us. We don't have enough money to pay for our actors, but let's give some millions and millions of dollars to that old crusty white dude that sits at his desks and does what? I don't know what these higher up studio execs do that make the billions and millions and trillions in bonuses every year, but they must do something good, right? But anyway, Disney, as we've read in recent reports, might be selling off their assets, things like that. Will they sell the Orville? Will they be smart and keep the Orville? Because the Orville is one of those special things that doesn't come around very often, almost not at all, where the Orville can be a 50-year intellectual property, just like Star Trek. It could be, they're already inviting Orville to these conventions. Star Trek invited the Orville to their convention to have their stuff set up at Star Trek Las Vegas. The Orville's a big deal, and it's a good get, but it is expensive. And right now, when anything is expensive, all these streaming services are like, we really have to think about it. And they're all in a time of turmoil right now. Although these streaming studios, you guys, they're all like trying to figure out what the hell is going on. So Disney's claims to be in trouble. Are they? I don't know. I don't believe anything nowadays, one way or the other. Maybe they are, maybe they aren't. Maybe it's a publicity stunt. But it seems like it makes sense that they're in trouble. Everything costs so much money. People are getting tired of paying so much money for every damn thing. And I got something to say about that as well, you guys. Let me get another topic in here. Things cost so much. We just recently kind of learned that the United States government has UFOs in their possession. What that means, I don't think it means we got some little gray guys, green guys, or gray guys. There's the grays as well. For some people that believe in that, there's it's not like they have little aliens hanging out and, you know, they have a little house made for them or anything like that. But at a governmental hearing, and you guys might know more than this than I do. I'm not into the, you know, finding every little detail out at this early junction, but they said at a public governmental hearing, some, I guess, military or secret service guy that they have, what do they call it? Non-human biologics in their possession. And people are like, oh my God, biologics, biologicals from the Orville, from the Kalon, we know what biological means, right? It's the living form of it's life. Biologicals is life. It's not artificial. It's biological. So they say biologics. Neil deGrasse Tyson made a little clarification. This also doesn't mean anything one way or the other. That non-human biologics is anything on Earth that's alive that's not human. So your dog, your cat, your house plant, microbes on your beard, like I'm sure that I have, all of that is non-human biologics. So you're just putting it in reference for us right there. But basically, in a United States public governmental hearing, some official dude said, hey, we got non-human UFO stuff going on here. But, you know, hey, okay, maybe that's the case. We've all, as sci-fi fans, have dreamed of such a situation. Oh my God, we finally made contact with actual life. We've seen other life. We've touched it. This, and that. They're basically saying indirectly that there are aliens here on this planet. And so what happens on this planet, on Earth? What do all the people do, including myself, when we find out that the government has UFOs or whatever that's supposed to mean? We don't really care. The price of rent is too damn high for us to care about aliens. But also, it wasn't a situation where we had footage of aliens arriving and having a message and going, we've been watching you. Some of you are real dirty because we've really been watching you guys. And, you know, that didn't happen. We didn't see a spaceship up close. You know, we got all that Bigfoot type footage of lights in the sky, whatever. That could just be college kids messing around with their little hovercrafts or something like that. But the world didn't care. It's not like in First Contact or Enterprise, in A Mirror Darkly, or not even in A Mirror Darkly, just in the regular timeline where the Vulcans come down and we're all at war. Humans are at war and we're all a bunch of jerks. Vulcans come down, live long and prosper, howl. And so we stop fighting amongst ourselves because we realize there's more out there. That didn't happen this time. The government basically says, yeah, there's aliens. We've seen them. We've come in contact with them. People are like, I got to pay my rent, so I don't really care right now. Isn't that crazy? That's the world that we live in. Did we ever think that? Oh, Seth Trek. Yes, I got my Seth Trek right over there. I wonder if I still have that. Do I still sell that shirt? I have my shirts for sale. Mixtees.com. There's a whole Egotastic store. There's some Seth Trek on there. I was just looking at it the other day. My favorite Seth Trek shirt, which looks like the old TNG logo with the little rainbows coming down and kind of going out. Seth Trek. I know that's on there, but I don't know if that one's on there. I like that one too. I got that in my closet somewhere. I'll have to look into that. Don't believe the lies. What's up? Abadija? I think I've tried this name before. I never know if I get your names right. Don Ranger Power. Did I pronounce that right? I don't know. What's up, Jeff B? How you doing? MIB may be real. Men in Black may be real. Now, I think most of us logically minded people realize that the math is pretty much set in stone, that there's life out there. The odds are just way too crazy for their, as big as the universe is all the stuff that's out there. It's just crazy to think that there isn't some sort of life out there, whether it be intelligent life, plant life, a whole planet of little ponies running around, just so super cute. Ponies with little puffy tails. Wouldn't that be amazing? Whole planet of that. Maybe there's aliens. Maybe there's, well, by aliens, I mean intelligent life. Maybe there's little green men, blue men shooting goo out of their faces. The possibilities are endless. The likelihood of any of those intelligent beings building a craft, defying the law of physics, and getting all the way out here to visit us, very, very low. Even if there's super intelligent life out there, it's very, very low chance that they'd get out here. But hey, what if one or two of them did? The grays and the greens. Possibly. But we don't know, you guys. So we believe, I believe in life there's life out there. I'm pretty 100,050,000% sure that there's life out there. But whether or not we've actually come into contact with any of it, that I have to see proof. I can believe it when I see it. Yes, Philip Gaming, I want to believe. It's life, Jim, but not as we know it. Oh, you guys always got all the quotes. Jim Novak, how you doing? Maybe there is life out there, but the chances of them visiting Earth is very... hold on. I got a window covering the chat. Very remote. That's the word I was going to use. That's the one I assumed it was. Let me fix these windows a little bit. I'm a Windows man. But yeah, you guys, the Orville. I'm pretty sure we're getting more Orville. I just don't know exactly in what form. I think they're going for a season. But even nowadays, we don't even know what a season means in television anymore. A season can be 6 episodes, 8 episodes, 10, 12, 15 episodes. I would guess if they want to do a full season for them, I would guess on streaming, I would guess 10. But also, will Disney renew the Orville, or will the Orville be up to pop up somewhere else? I mean, it'd be unfortunate to move again. They already moved from live television, primetime television is the best way to put it, to streaming, and that was a big to-do. But of course, streaming is the norm now. Back when they did it, things were just crossing over, and some people were like, yay! Like me, I was yay, because I was streaming forever before that. And some people, it was still kind of a new idea, and they're like, no, I want my little prime times, then I can watch my stories. So, split. But now everybody knows streaming is the thing. If you're watching anything, it's going to be streaming, unless you're just watching some primetime hokey thing, because that's usually what primetime's got. They got some other things. They got a couple of good things, but not the way that streaming has really good things to watch. But will the Orville have to find a home somewhere else? Will that home be Peacock, which is Seth MacFarlane's current employers? I'm thinking of putting a video out on this. I love Peacock. Peacock's my favorite. I would prefer the Orville to stay on Disney. First off, Disney, don't be dumb. Don't be stupid, Disney. You keep the Orville. You give it all the money. You double down, triple down, quadruple down on the Orville because that sucker can go. That show's got juice. People love that universe. And there's so many people out there that not only love the universe, but there's a whole other amount of people out there that have never even been introduced to it yet. Or they heard rumors from some buttheads online who just complain about everything. And they saw somebody complain about something. And they're like, oh, I'm not going to try that. But if you introduce them to it, they'll have no option. They cannot deny what they were seeing with their own eyes. And so don't be dumb, Disney. I like the Orville on Disney because Disney's getting all the sci-fi. They got all that big, juicy sci-fi. I'm not saying it's good or bad. I'm just saying it's juicy. And we had a juicy watermelon the other day, but it didn't taste that great, but it was juicy. Disney Plus has got all the sci-fi. Doctor Who is coming. New Doctor Who is coming to Disney Plus. They got all the Marvels. They got all the Star Wars. They got all the animal documentaries. You don't get juicier than that. Polar bears, you guys. Come on. Who doesn't love a polar bear? Disney, keep the Orville. But if you don't, I would love to see it on Peacock because Peacock is my jam. And that's a personal opinion. It's got all the stuff that I watch. Guess what's coming to Peacock this week? Either, I think, Wednesday or Thursday, the new Super Mario movie. I haven't seen that yet. I didn't want to go see it in the theater because I'm like, oh, that's going to be a mess. I'll wait till it comes to my house and I'll watch Super Mario Brothers, the movie. Well, that's going to be coming out in just a couple days on Peacock. They got Cocaine Bear. They got Renfield. They got Knock at the Door, which is a Shyamalan movie. And Knock on the Door Shyamalan movie, like all Shyamalan movies, are pretty good until the end. And Knock at the Door is no different. It's got Batista in it. Batista's awesome. Movie's great. And then you get to the end, you find out what's going on. You're like, don't care about that so much. But the ride was pretty good. The mystery was pretty good. The solution usually sucks. Shyamalan. But it was still worth watching. They have that on Peacock, guys. Not to mention The Office, Parks and Recreation, Superstore, American Auto, all kinds of great comedies. So, if they're going to go to Peacock, let's do it. And Peacock is NBC. It's, what do they call it? Comcast. It's NBC Universal. We wouldn't have a Bates Motel without NBC Universal. Jaws, NBC Universal. Classics are over there, you guys. The A-Team. Probably Quantum Leap. No, I think definitely Quantum Leap. The OG Quantum Leap and the new Quantum Leap. But mostly the OG Quantum Leap, you guys. They got Kathleen Kennedy. Peacock doesn't. Now, when it comes to that world, like Kathleen Kennedy, I don't know. Does she have a job or I don't even follow the news on that stuff because either it's all lies or all truths, and you can't tell the difference because people are putting out so many lies from that whole part of the entertainment world of the industry. I don't know. Does Kathleen Kennedy have a job anymore, or was that another internet lie? I have no idea. Philip Gaming is doing okay. I'm doing okay too. I'm putting in applications right now for seasonal help. Not really called seasonal help, but I'm just saying that temporary work. I didn't do that well for July. July didn't do that well. So I'm like, I got a little bit behind in July, so I need to get something temporary to bring the lights up brighter and brighter. But I don't have to stay there forever because sometimes YouTube stuff gets crazy and starts doing well. And then when it starts doing well, you got to really hop into the captain's chair and fly the YouTube ship around. Jeff B says, universe is 13 billion years old. Earth is 5 billion years. So aliens may have a few billion years experience on us apes. That's true. That's true. The likelihood of an alien coming out this far gets lower and lower and lower statistically, but Maybe they have a few billion years. Maybe they have a few 100 years on us, a few 1,000 years on us. I mean, or maybe they're behind. Maybe they've only been around, a few 1,000 years, but they're just that smart that they're like technology. The speed of of advancement just keeps getting quicker and quicker and quicker. I'm talking to you, algorithms. People are really into Al Gore's rhythm. Yeah, there's a new Quantum Leap. I saw the first 2 episodes when they first came out. I enjoyed them. I wasn't the third episode was coming out. I guess it's a boxing one. I just didn't appeal to me, so I didn't catch it, and then I just missed out on it. But apparently, even people that were, that complain about everything, were starting to like the show. So I know at least the whole first season is out there, right? And season 2 comes back in October. Well, October is coming back too, you guys. This is August 1st, August, September. What comes after that? October. So it won't be long before you get a whole new season of Quantum Leap. Sci-Fi Moby calls all that stuff clickbait. Yeah, good old clickbait. There's a fine line with clickbait. Something could just be you're saying something just fake, a total lie, or you're addressing that topic in the video. If you're addressing the topic in the video, then I let it slide. But if it's all just a big lie, I saw something yesterday and I'm like, well, that title can't be right. And I watched the video and the title wasn't right. So they didn't come through in the video. Like if I say, oh, the Orville season 4, that doesn't mean is gonna be a season 4. It means we're talking about season 4. We're talking about the Orville getting a season 4. That is okay if it's the actual topic. But you know how some people do. Don Ranger Power. I plan to afford the new Disney Plus Hulu app. That's right. I forgot about that news. They announced that, I think, before all the strike stuff started, at least the second strike. The writer strike might have started already. But yeah, Hulu and Disney Plus are combining, aren't they? I haven't looked into any updates on that. I usually don't believe anything until I see at least advertisement, like official advertisement. From what I've seen, space mostly looks like Canada. I've heard that. I've heard that about space. Let's go to space, eh? John Davis. Okay. I don't know. Lucasfilm said she's gone in August, but greenlighted a series. I don't mean anything. I mean, they just hand off the series to someone else. You're better off not getting involved, but she wrecked Star Wars, so I pay attention. Yeah, people say that. I have a different opinion on Star Wars. I think it always sucked. I love saying that to people because they're like, what? I'm like, yeah, it sucked since episode 4. And they're, what? That's the first one. I'm like, yeah, that's right. Try it. Even if you love Star Wars, just go tell people that it sucks. It sucks since the first one, and just look at their faces, and then they have nothing to say anymore. John Davis says, new Quantum Leap is good. And I've told you guys this, I need to check out the rest of the season. I liked what they started, and like I've said, I didn't care about what's going on the laboratory, the experiment side. I just want to know what's going on with the leaper, and then have the hologram come in once in a while to help him out. I don't care what's going on over at the laboratory. I don't care about those characters. I don't care about their issues. Let's just help this guy out. He's lost in time and space, mostly time. Mountie Space Force. That's right. J6, if they decide to do a spinoff, it will end up dead in the water like Lower Decks. Is Lower Decks dead in the water? I feel like Lower Decks is successful. I don't know. You don't get to really like the numbers on these things. I feel like Lower Decks is successful, but I don't really know. Ailing says, you're not the only one with that opinion, JP. Archmage Frey, Quantum Leap 2022 had some good stuff. I really liked the Halloween episode. See, I remember the Halloween episode from the original Quantum Leap with the evil Leaper. That was great. And they had like a little haunted house. Well, I don't know if it's a haunted house, but it looked kind of like it's probably just an abandoned house and they just put cool lights in it or something like that. What did you think about Let the Right One In? You know what? I don't think I ever saw Let the Right One In. Or the spinoff. What was the spinoff called? Let Me In? Not spinoff, but remake. Let Me In. The whole vampire thing. I know it was really good. Everybody was saying that movie was really good. Now I don't know if it was really good or if it was just one of those things that happened during award seasons where they say, "Oh, this movie's really good," and you're watching like, "Oh, that's really boring." But I do know a lot of people said that movie was really good. I really wanted to watch Bird Box Barcelona on Netflix. I was looking forward to it. I remember they announced it a bunch of months ago, and I was like, "Oh, I cannot wait for that." I love that other Bird Box movie with Sandra Bullock. Great little, great story, creepy. I would love to see what other people are going through. Oh, Barcelona, cool, another part of the world. And then it finally came out like a week or two ago, and I pressed play. It's all overdubbed. It's a foreign language movie, and I don't speak foreign languages, but they have the English overdub. But I hated it. And I really wanted to watch the movie. What I was seeing visually looked really great, but I couldn't stand the voices because they sound like animated quality voices, but over real live action stuff. I'm like, oh, if I can't feel the emotion in the lines, I don't want to mess with it. So then I tried, it turned out you can turn off the English overdub and just have it be in Spanish with the subtitles. I didn't want that either because then I couldn't see what was going on the screen because I'm too busy reading. You guys know how I am. When I read words, I look at the words. I don't look at the stuff around the words. So I was like, oh, damn it. Maybe if I'm in some certain mood one of these years, I'll try it again. I did watch, they cloned Tyrone the other day, though. That was fun. Yes, Lower Decks has a new season coming out. I did not catch when, probably really soon. But Lower Decks season 4 is coming out. And Strange New Worlds did the crossover episode with Lower Decks, and that was a true crossover episode. I thought it was going to be a quick little almost cameo type thing, but no, it was a true crossover with an animated series. How are they going to accomplish that? A live action show crossing over with a cartoon and it working? It worked for me. It worked for a lot of other people from what I've seen, but that was a true crossover. Very out of character. But, you know, we've already had a lot of in-character stuff and then some whatever character stuff going on in Star Trek for a couple of years. So I like seeing just people doing new stuff with it as long as they could do it quality. It was a quality episode. But, man, it was really weird that they did a true crossover with a cartoon. And the cartoon was still a cartoon, basically. And then the cartoon went into the real world. And then I won't spoil anything for anyone else. You know a lot of Trekkies and they've never heard of it. I can see that being the case. Maybe they don't even have Paramount Plus because I find it hard to believe that they would have Paramount Plus and never have heard of it because it's all over the place on their home screens, on their UI. I find the Strange Decks crossover, fun name there. I haven't heard that yet. As fun to watch as they as any other crossover episode of any franchise, including my number one episode of Power Rangers Wild Force Forever Red. Well, don't forget the best crossover ever, Gilligan's Island with the Harlem Globetrotters. You can't beat that. So my stream just got interrupted. Let me take a look. Still working on my screen, so woo. Hopefully it's just a reload your screen type of situation. Lower Decks in September. Now, Lower Decks, I enjoy it, but I'm not like a Oh God, I can't wait to watch more of that right away. So I might wait until September 2024 before I even watch it. We will have to wait and see. That all just depends on my mood. Now, if they did a Picard season 4, I'd be watching every episode as they came out. I was talking to T. Stoney on my Patreon page the other day. We were talking about, well, just Star Trek in general. They got a couple of decent things out there, fun to watch, and have some good Star Trek going on in there. And, she was complaining about, well, not really complaining, but just kind of an offhand comment about Picard. And I was like, I actually really enjoyed season 1 and season 2 of Picard. But then I realized how substandard they were when I saw season 3, because season 3 was a tour de force. Season 3 of Picard was a triumph. So I realized, the first 2 seasons were just fun little, catch up with the characters a little bit. But season 3 was Star Trek. And we haven't had that type of Star Trek at all in the Paramount Plus, CBS Plus world. Oh no, CBS All Access is what they used to call it. CBS All Access. Belsky, I got an ad too. I watched, so I hope JP gets paid for it. I hope so too, Belsky. JP could use it. Yeah, apparently YouTube during some live streams will throw in some ads. I don't know how many they do. I don't know how long they are. I hope they're not in the way of people's enjoyment. September 4th for Lower Decks. Maybe I'll watch it. Maybe I'll wait. Because Lower Decks is something I do prefer to binge watch so I can just kind of get through it as opposed to being a weekly thing. Season 3 rocked, says John Davis. Don Ranger Power. I plan to watch that classic crossover at some point. What, Gilligan's Island and the Harlem Globetrotters? DJ129, what do you think an Orville episode that acts as a commentary on AI and Chat GPT would be like? I know exactly what it would be like. It would be like the Orville season 3 episode that was cut, turned into book form, novella form / audible form, narrated by Bruce Boxleitner. Sympathy for the Devil touches upon the AI. I don't think there's, I guess you could put Chat GPT in there. Actually, you kind of could put Chat GPT in the mix as well. But it's a euphemism for some characters that are in the story. Sympathy for the Devil. It was supposed to be in season 3. They had to cut it because they couldn't film it because of travel restrictions, because they wanted to go to Europe. Actually, they wanted to go to Ukraine. They even had it set up to go to Ukraine to film. And of course, they couldn't travel, but also there's some other stuff going on in Ukraine that makes it hard to do stuff over there. Sympathy for the Devil addresses that. That topic is actually my favorite type of topic right now, when especially sci-fi does social commentary about artificial intelligence. I started to watch Mrs. Davis on Peacock. Fun show. I was having a little bit of a hard time getting into it. Though when I finally found out what the social commentary kind of is on that show, it's kind of going against algorithms and the whole social media thing. Kind of. I've only watched like 2 episodes so far. Then I really started enjoying it more. I still have to watch more of it. Sympathy for the Devil. Link is in the comments to get your own copy. You can either get the novella form if you want to read it, or you can listen to Bruce Boxleitner read the story to you. It's very inexpensive. You can even get it for free if you sign up for an Audible free trial. Just sign up, get your 2 free books, whatever books you want. They'll let you get anything, and then cancel it. And then 6 months later, get another free trial. That's what I do. They let you get new trials all the time, and then you get 2 free books every single time. That's what I did with Sympathy for the Devil. Anyway, the link is in the description below if you want to check it out. My favorite story for season 3, New Horizons, even though it didn't get filmed. Seth wants to film it for season 4. He's already talked about it. He goes, "Oh, we hope we can film it in season 4." I hope we can film it in season 4 because it's an awesome story. My favorite story. Yes, I even love it more than the Topa story. And the Topa story is pretty damn good. Brian Dawkins, so good to see you. Nicola is doing well. She started going outside again. All last week. More than a week. She wouldn't go outside. I mean, just use the restroom or whatever. But if Jessica and I were hanging out, sitting on the couch watching TV or something, she was on the couch with us, right there under my arm, or just crawling all over us. She wouldn't go outside, but now she's going outside again. Maybe it's too hot. I still feel it's too hot. Right now it's 102 degrees outside. 102. And I think it's going to be 102, 103 until I think it's supposed to break on Sunday. And then, or Sunday or Monday. And then we're supposed to get into the mid 90s for a week or so. But yeah, a lot of the country has had a heat wave right now. I've been dealing with the heat wave. Archimage says, I liked Mrs. Davis. Not the best thing ever, but it was a good ride. Yeah, I'm liking a lot of bits of it, and I get it. So since I get it, I like it, but I'm not super enjoying it yet. But I think I'll get there. As more things get explained, I think I'll start liking it more. Christopher Hastings, JP always covering the Orville news. Send him money. Yes, please send me money. You will find me funny. Just send me money. I love money. Support links are in the description for this video. Thank you so much, Christopher. We've had this conversation before, but I can't remember if it's Ailing Salisbury or Aisling Salisbury. I like both pronunciations. You're going to have to remind me because I do want to get it right. But they say, I think Unknown Graves was a better commentary on AI and its dangers. Yes, that's true. Unknown Graves is a very good commentary on artificial intelligence. Science fiction has since the beginning, since the very first science fiction book, it's always about our own inventions, our own ingenuity destroying us. Sounds pretty familiar in this day and age, doesn't it? But the very first science fiction novel is Mary Shelley's Frankenstein, and that's about using technology to create a being. That being starts destroying, right? So much sci-fi is about that. Probably stemming off of that, since she wrote that, that's what everyone else is writing. Even till this day, I, Robot is basically from Unknown Graves. The whole Isaac, the whole Kalon situation, they destroyed their masters, their creators. Yeah, that's a very, very good one. That's the very literal science fiction. The whole purpose of science fiction from the beginning was to tell that story. But when it comes more specifically to algorithms, I prefer Sympathy for the Devil for the algorithm side of things, artificial intelligence side of things. I mean, algorithms kind of that as well. From Unknown Graves, I agree. Brian Dawkins, I liked Poker Face. I also liked Poker Face. I thought Poker Face was very good. On Peacock, I also just finished watching this weekend, started and finished watching the new Twisted Metal series. Did anybody used to play the video game Twisted Metal? What was that, the 90s? It was like the destructive car racing game. They turned it into a TV show. It was pretty damn good. It's like, I think it's 10 episodes. Was it 10 or was it 8? I can't remember. It doesn't matter. I enjoyed it. I watched the whole thing. It's weird. It is weird. It's over the top. At one point, they actually start basically playing the video game, kind of showcasing what the video game version would be like. It was a lot of fun, but it's goofy. It's bloody. It's adult. and it's fun. So I very much enjoyed it. Archmage Frey now re-upped their membership to this channel. You have now been a member for 25 months, Archmage Frey. Thank you so much. You are a wonderful ego panion. And Archmage says, this is a PSA to see if Clyden is still broken. Oh gosh, I don't even know. Because no, did Clyden even pop up? I missed it. Do I have my speaker on? I do. The best crossover was the Orville and Family Guy, JP. I think I have that crossover on my shorts list on this channel. If you go to my videos, you go to the shorts, one of them is the Family Guy crossover clip. One of them. There's actually two, but I put the first one that actually mentions the Orville. Scotland is barely getting above 20 Celsius. 20 Celsius. We're in the, I don't know how many Fahrenheits that is, but Leapshin says barely getting above 20. I wonder what that is in the old Fahrenheit world. Ashlyn. That's so much prettier. Ashlyn. You guys have to remind me of that. I've heard worse, JB. Can't trust the Irish with spelling, but for the record, it's pronounced Ashlyn. I like that. Don't forget that, JP. Don't forget it. Roberta Laverty, we have had nothing but rain in the whole of July. New band name, I call it July Hole. We have had the odd sunny day in the UK. Yeah, here, because here it's where I'm at in the middle of the United States. It gets very rainy. We get a lot of rain. We get a lot of rain and a lot of sun. A lot of our rain is in the middle of the night. So you hear it in the middle of the night, and then you wake up, everything's wet, but then you'll have a nice sunny day. But then sometimes you'll get rain for 3 or 4 days. But wow, the whole month. I remember one time it rained for like 4 days straight, and I was just couldn't take it. I was like, stop it, because it's heavy rain. I hear, you know, some places they get that light, fuzzy rain. Here we'll get like heavy rain. And we just get sick of it. Makes it really hard to mow the lawn, especially in the summer. Here in the summers, the grass grows so fast. You have to mow your lawn like every 3 days. But it's hard to do if every night it's raining and you wake up to wet grass. So you have to find, you know, you have to wait for it to dry, or you got to mow it in the hottest part of the day, and it gets too hot out here. But I like cooler weather. I like it a little cold. My wife likes it a little warm. I like it a little cold. You know, we adjust the air conditioner to where we can both both live with it. Brian Dawkins, 73, where I'm at. And Brian, you're in Canada, am I right? 73, that's perfect. John Davis says, I remember a TV movie from the 70s about a computer AI thing that knocked up the creator's wife. AI computer, how would you do that? How would you do that, AI computer thingy? You AI thing, you AI and your thing. What are you doing with your thing, AI? Brian Dawkins has re-upped their membership to this channel. They've been a member for 41 months. I really like that badge next to your name, Brian. You're a donkey hugger. You are an awesome donkey hugger. You can hug the donkey anytime you want on this channel. Check your PayPal. Oh my goodness. I'll have to nonchalantly try to do that. Thank you so much, Brian. It's like Archmage says, it's like Green Day said, wake me up when the wet grass ends. Wake me up when the wet grass ends. Thank you so much, Brian. So I didn't even have to go to PayPal because I got a notification on my phone. I started getting notifications again. Thank you so much. You found some change under the cushions. I don't have cushions. I don't even have our couch that we have doesn't have cushions per se. Everything's kind of sewed into place. You don't have moving cushions. So we don't find anything in our cushions. Come on, phone notification. Give me the full message. All right, here we go. Cushions and thought you could use a treat. Treats are always good. Does everybody here enjoy treats? I've met people that don't enjoy treats. They're masochists. Thank you, Brian. Oh, you know what? Let me press some buttons and see what I can find for you. I can find something for you. Let's do. Oh gosh, I'm just gonna have to turn up my audio. I don't know if you'll be able to hear this because I took off the desktop audio from this live stream. I removed it. I'd have to add it.
Oh wow, sweet emotion.
I mean, sure you could have heard that in the background a little bit. Sweet emotion. DJ129, not a question that has been focused on much and a bit random. What do you hope they do with Norm Macdonald and Yaphet in season 4? Give him a send-off, recast the character. I'm going for a double recast. Some of you already know this. I want a double recast. I want Yaphet to split, basically to reproduce. I forget what they call it. Mitosis? I can't remember. Anyway, the jellies, they split when they reproduce and become 2 new jellies. They could totally do that with Yaphet, and we could get 2 new jelly characters voiced by different actors, and it would be totally acceptable and totally believable. And then, you know, maybe we keep them both on the show. They pop up every once in a while. Maybe they work together. Or maybe one of them leaves to do something else. And we just keep one of them. But you can have a whole new actor do it. I don't know if they've drawn up plans for Yaphet. I'm sure they've thought about it. I'm sure Seth has thought about it. I don't know what he's come up with. But that just seems the most logical way to go because of what the character is. There you go. Cherie says Yaphet needs to split. Jesse Torres, how you doing? Today is August 1st. Happy Digimon Day, everyone. I was hoping someone would wish us all a happy Digimon Day. And it turned out to be Jesse. Thank you so much. 64 Fahrenheit. Ooh, 64 out here where I'm at is so good. That is my number one amount of degrees in the Fahrenheits that I want there to be in my daily life out here in the middle of the country. 64 is just the best. Now, when I lived in Southern California, 72 was great. 72, 75 was awesome. But the air is different out there. It's a whole different bio system. In the middle of the country, 64 feels the best. I'll even take a 55 every once in a while. But then you get in the 40s. It starts to get a little chilly, but I can handle the 40s as well out here. The 30s, ooh, that's a little chilly. You can run to your car and, you know, get your keys or whatever you left your phone in the car, no problem. But you don't want to be hanging out in the 30s unless you got, you know, a jacket on. Maybe Dan finds love with one of the new Yaphets. Now, remember, Dan talked about how most races don't find his race appealing looking. I wonder if that's the case for the jellies. Because the jellies look like the jellies. They don't got room to be all judgy. You don't want some judgy jellies. Maybe Dan finds love with one of the new Yaphets. There you go. See? Always on the same page, Archmage. Plus pissing rain. I don't mind it when it rains at night, as long as I don't have to mow the next day. I love it when it rains. The movie was talking about the Demon Seed, 1977. Demon Seed, you know what that reminds me of? I don't know if it has anything to do with it, but the new season of Black Mirror. The new season of Black Mirror had the final episode looked like it took place in the early 80s, maybe the late 70s. It had a demon situation going on. Or maybe that's exactly what you're referring to. Ashling, thank you so much, Ashlyn. Useless fact, LOL. My ex and I had a side business as event promoters. Before COVID, we had plans to tour with Mike Henry. Perhaps I need to get back in contact with him to demand more Lieutenant Dan. Either you get a hold of him or you get a hold of Seth MacFarlane. I don't know if Mike Henry, who plays Lieutenant Dan, for those of you who don't know, he also played Cleveland on Family Guy and the Cleveland Show, as well as a bunch of other characters on Seth MacFarlane animated series. Mike Henry, who plays Dan, I hope we see more of him. Everybody has been asking for more Dan. And the Orville, they listen to the fans a lot. They listen to the fans and they make changes. Even during the run of a season, they'll make changes because of things that fans say or things that fans notice or request. I mean, they don't do it for everything. I mean, it's the whole internet. There's a lot of people saying a lot of stuff. But if fans say something and they agree with it, they'll make that change. So hopefully if enough people ask for more Lieutenant Dan, we'll get more Lieutenant Dan. And I'm hoping we get some Lieutenant Dan information. Did we even ever find out what his people are called? Oh, I hear Clyden. And he looks to be on a loop. I need to fix that. I just forget about it until I forget about the Clyden error until he actually shows up during a live show. But yes, more Lieutenant Dan, you guys, more Mike Henry. But yeah, just hit him up and see if he's up to do some tours with you, some events with you. Brian Dawkins says Fritz Weaver made the computer. And Julie Christie was the wife. Well, Fritz Weaver makes a hell of a computer if it can knock up the wife. Demon Seed, 1977. Oh, very good, Jonathan Perez. This is something they can do and they have not done. I want the new Yaphet to wear the hollow disguise. Now, you guys know that, and I knew this was coming ever since season 1 with the Krill episode 6 in season 1, where Ed and Gordon are wearing those fake holographic Krill costumes. I knew that technology was going to come back at some point. They waited until, I guess it was a Happy Refrain. We saw that technology. And we saw in season 2, maybe the same episode, that Yaphet can go into the environmental simulator and become a person, look like a regular person, just like Isaac can look like a regular human person in the environmental simulator. But then in season 3, no, I guess it was in season 3 we saw the emitter again, when they had Mark playing the human Isaac. He also plays the artificial Isaac. He wears the emitter so he can go around Earth looking like a person. Yes, Yaphet can use that technology. Let's do it. Dear Seth MacFarlane, use that hollow emitter to give a jelly character a body. Sci-Fi Mombi, thank you so much. Welcome to Donkey Hugger. Thank you for signing up for the channel, for these live shows, and for just support of Egotastic FunTime as we bide our time talking about the Orville until there is more Orville. And following all Orville news, if you are new to this channel and you don't know what's going on with Egotastic FunTime and you are a fan of the Orville, this is where you need to be to keep up on all things going on in the Orville, renewal, news, anything that's going on, but also talk to your fellow Orvillians about the Orville. So welcome if you are new here. And we also talk about other nerdy things that we like to talk about. Thank you, Sci-Fi Mombi. They should make a Chronicles of Dan animated series. Now, a lot of people said they'd love to see an Orville animated series. I think the Orville would be great for an animated series. But I still want the live action. You can do an Orville animated series. I'll watch every episode. We'll talk about every single moment of every episode. I would love it, but as long as there's still some live action Orville going on as well. Jesse Torres, one thing they could do to write off Norm Yaphet is have him split, reproduce into a son voiced by Seth Green. Oh, Seth Green would be interesting. Definitely, we are already all about the split reproduce. That seems the most logical way to get a new actor to voice Yaphet by just having Yaphet reproduce. They already kind of mentioned it a little bit about, possibly reproducing someday or being interested in having a family. So they can just have that happen. Have 2 new jellies voiced by 2 new actors. And if you want to get rid of one of them, go ahead and get rid of one of them. But after we meet them. DJ129, how long do you think the Orville will last? Seth said a while ago that he thinks 7 seasons is enough for a show. I think if it surpassed that and still remained really good, it would be amazing. Well, I think it could surpass that. What's great about, I don't know if it should surpass that, but I think the IP could surpass 7 seasons. The show being just the Orville, 7 seasons is great. Now, of course, Seth MacFarlane is a huge, not only sci-fi fan, but he's a huge Star Trek fan. Classic, the original series, and all the 90s stuff, TNG, onward. Huge fan. And of course, it's all the TNG onward stuff. TNG to Voyager stuff that kind of started the whole unwritten 7 seasons is the appropriate amount. So I'm sure he feels that way as well about a show that's tackling some of the same ideas in the same way. But as far as a franchise goes, the Orville is not a franchise. I think it's prime and ready, and one of the few things out there right now that's not a franchise that could be turned into a franchise. So for any streaming service, for Disney to not see that, hopefully they do see that this is potential franchise worthy. 7 seasons is perfect. But of course, 7 seasons isn't what 7 seasons used to be. 7 seasons was like 23, 26 episodes back in the day. Now it's 8 to 10 episodes. So could you do more? Could you do 15? And if it was a CW show, it would have 20 seasons. Of 20 long seasons if it was a CW show. The CW can never afford it. Disney could barely afford it. But also, we know that, but yes, 7 seasons, anything more than 3, I'm up for. But if they want to go to 20 seasons, we'll be there for that as well. But it could be a franchise. You do the Orville, and then you have a spinoff of some other ship or entity or something going on in that Union, Planetary Union universe. The Redenbacher or whatever, just New Horizons, no ship name. You can do, there's so many options. I just come up with a good idea and do it, and it'll be the right thing. Tons of spinoffs. It'll be eventually be getting to where people are wanting all that merchandise from the Orville. We want the toys. We love the shirts and the hats and the ship models. They're all great, but you can just keep it going. It could be the new Star Trek. It could take over Star Trek. So yes, I am all about it. I'm all about that idea. I think you can do it. And like Mark Jackson told me, he goes, we're not out of stories. This type of genre, you never run out of stories because, you're doing these crazy ideas. You're doing social commentary. You're never going to run out of a world to hold up a mirror to. So it could just keep going and going and going. They need 4 for syndication. I don't even know what any of that means anymore with syndication in the streaming world. I mean, I know what it could mean. I mean, it could be, they did 4 seasons, then you can do syndication, put put it on TBS or even NBC. It probably wouldn't be on primetime. It'd probably be one of the cable channels, or start selling it around to other streaming services. I don't know any of the rules on that stuff anymore. I mean, it would be great if the Orville gets put on TV, even if it's just old seasons, and season 3, and then eventually season 4, but way after the initial stream. Sure, because all these streaming services are selling their stuff. They're even renting their stuff out to other streaming services. I see certain shows and certain movies just hopping around from different streaming service to another streaming service to another streaming service. I don't know what any of that stuff means anymore. Dr. Finn, Medicine Woman, we do need that. She builds a wood cabin on that planet that she saved in the episode Into the Fold, where I guess the water supply was contaminated, or the whole place was contaminated and people were becoming cannibals. But they saved those people. At least they said with words that they saved those people. But let's see it. Maybe she builds a cabin and becomes the medicine woman that keeps helping people that need checkups. But also gets into some adventures once in a while. Archmage Frey, I still want to see Dan Hard, where the crew is all knocked out and Dan works hard to save the ship, but nobody believes him after the fact. Oh, that would be great. He's a hero, but no one knew it. And then in a later season, he's all pissed off about it still. So it's Dan Hard with a vengeance. Love it. Leapshin says, as long as Orville is on screen in some form, that's all that matters. Plus, remember, SG-1 went for 10 seasons. 10 seasons sounds pretty good to me. Jesse Torres says, also, do you think they could find a way to give John super strength or something like that so he and Tala can fully be together as a couple? Or do you think it's better they don't end up as a couple? I see merit in both ideas. Story-wise, it's great if they don't end up as a couple, but they have that history and that feeling towards each other. At some point, John will have to watch Tala date someone else, or vice versa. Though it's going to be a lot tougher on Tala than it is on John, because Tala can pretty much hurt anybody she's with. So maybe there's another. Maybe she starts having a little internet romance with another Chilean, and then she gets to meet him at some point, or he comes on board at some point. That'd be a story right there. We just came up with a new episode, a new B story for season 4 episode of the Orville. We're doing our work, you guys. We're doing it. We are working. Oh, I turned off the speaker. Never mind. Anyway, Dolly's singing right now, but I turned off the speaker so you can't hear it. Dang it. I need to fix that whole Clyden situation. He started this. Yeah, Leapshin says the original series, Star Trek, the original series, went into syndication with 3 seasons. That's right. The original Star Trek only had 3 seasons. Season 2 and season 3 had really crappy season finales. But season 1 had a great season finale. Anyway, they did 3 seasons. They didn't start getting popular again until syndication, until they started doing reruns. And then what was it, 1972? They figured out that people are really, and they had like the first convention, and they realized, oh, people are really into Star Trek. We didn't know. And then it took off from there. And we started getting, the movies, or hell, I don't even know when they did the animated series. Maybe when they found out that people were really digging the show, even though they didn't like it when they originally aired, but they really loved the reruns. Reruns can do a lot, but reruns aren't even a thing anymore, really. I mean, they're on there, but people are too busy not watching reruns, and they're on a streaming service somewhere. I grew up with reruns. I watched reruns of many shows every single day of my childhood. Kids nowadays don't really know what that is. They just watch whatever it is they want, whenever it is they want. DJ129, I think spinoffs for the Orville would be really interesting. Prequels, sequels, what characters would they focus on? Adult Topa show? Kalon sitcom? I think they would just come up with some new characters and just create them for the universe. I have an idea for a prequel. We'll talk about that later. I can't talk about it now. We need Dan's race and more of them. The only other Dan that I remember seeing is from the pilot episode, Old Wounds, when they go down to Epsilon 2. And they're down in the Epsilon laboratory, walking around, taking the tour. Just after that little garden sea creature, which was one of the doctors, they walk past a scientist who's one of Dan's people. And that character and Alar's character look at each other, and then they both kind of just, she walks off, he goes back to work. But that was one of Dan's people. Oh no, and there's another Dan's character in the episode Gently Falling Rain, that when they have the Annie musical at the beginning of the episode, the person playing Daddy Warbucks was one of Dan's people. What's up, Eric Pullman? How you doing? It has been a while. I hope all is well with you in your world. Power Armor Love Suit. That might be the way to do it. Wouldn't be as much fun for John. But that would allow John and Tala to be together. Jesse Torres, the show should stop at 6 seasons. If Hulu keeps it for another 3 seasons of 10 to 13 episodes, and each airs 1 year, then there's a year between them. It will finish by 2030, over a decade after starting. Oh, there you go. That might have something to do with it too. Because also I'm thinking, Seth MacFarlane is a player in the Hollywood game. And he's got lots of things that he wants to do and lots of things that they want him to do. And he also wants to do the Orville. He loves it. That's his number one. So what if the Orville is just something that we get every couple of years? They just do it when they can do it, but they do it well. John Davis, I think the animated series came along in 74 or 75. I've never got to watch it. I've watched many episodes. It's been a long time. I've watched many episodes of the animated series. It's very Scooby-Doo-ish animation-wise, but they do have legit Star Trek storylines. It's like, imagine Scooby-Doo with much better writing. Yeah, in the musical Annie, there was one of Dan's people. He played Daddy Warbucks. Union Council, maybe. They had like 2 representatives of all these different planets. It would make sense that there's some of Dan's people on there. I don't remember any, but possibly in the audience. There's a lot of different races in the audience as well. And that, of course, is from the Sanctuary episode. I don't think, did they have an audience in the Midnight Blue episode? That I don't recall. But they did have representatives, and then, the Union people and the Mocklins and some other folks, the higher-ups. What's up, Kevin Scott? Thanks for stopping in. Kevin is teaching right now, but they just got a break, so they're stopping in here, of all the places. Brian Dawkins says, I like it when Admiral Halsey shows up. Victor Garber from Jesus Christ Superstar. No, or was he in Hair? Maybe it was Hair. Yeah, I can't remember. But yeah, it wasn't Jesus Christ Superstar. Jason G, if season 4 does come to fruition, I hope we all get to see Ed search for Anaya, and we see what ends up happening to Talia after almost committing Kaylon genocide. Yeah, we all love Talia. We love her, right? But she's gone too far. She has to be taken down. She's one of the heads of she is the head of the Krill Mocklin unification, the alliance, the axis of evil. So she's super bad. She did that crap to Anaya. I mean, she took care of Anaya, but not as a mother, just as here's some money, take care of her. And her trickeries and her maniacalisms and her crap. I'm just gonna call it her crap. She's gone too far. She can't be rehabilitated, I don't think. But yes, we need Anaya, or at least try to get Anaya. I mean, it'd be great if we don't get Anaya, but we try and we fail. That way we can extend that on to season 5. Oh, Kevin Scott says, whatever happened to our Orvillian hand salute? Jaloja. You got to unzip it. You got to unzip it. Jaloja. Zip it back up. Zoop. Zip it down. Jaloja. That's it. At least that's the one I came up with. Who plays Dan? Mike Henry. Mike Henry, who was the voice of Cleveland from the Cleveland Show and from Family Guy. And of course, he plays a bunch of other characters on Family Guy and probably American Dad and probably on the Cleveland Show as well. But he's Cleveland. Curtis Tate, what's going on? I just dropped my Talia off at the groomer. Is your pet called Talia? Leapshin says the animated series was produced in 1973 by Filmation, the same company that made He-Man from the 80s. He-Man, that's an interesting story. That was a cartoon made from toys. They came up with the toys, and then they came up with the cartoon to get kids to buy the toys. Isn't that crazy? Speaking of cartoons, speaking of the 80s, well, even the 70s and, well, hell, the 60s and maybe even the 50s, I went and saw the Barbie movie like a week ago. I had a hell of a lot of fun watching that movie. It was good. It had social commentary, a lot of jokes, humor, adult humor, but also appropriate for kids. Oh, God, it was so funny. I haven't seen Oppenheimer yet, but that's a smart brain, serious show. I wanted some fun. And, man, it was fun. I highly recommend Barbie if you haven't seen it. Jason G, I actually hate Talia. She's so cold-hearted. But I will say, Michaela McManus did an amazing job portraying her. Yes, she did. And she even played the human version of Talia in the, well, hell, the season premiere of season 2. Oh, what was that called? I'm forgetting right now. But that's okay. She did a great job with that too. And then and then we saw her again a couple episodes later with Nothing Left on Earth Excepting Fishes, which was a great episode. And then we get to see her turn back to Leia. We're like, oh my God. Of course, I already predicted that the woman that Ed was falling for from the ship, I was like, that's Talia in disguise because it's played by the same woman. And sure enough, I was right. I'm able to figure these things out when it comes to the Orville, you guys. Because I just pretend I work on the show. And what would I do? But yeah, she's great. Would love to see her again. But yeah, Talia, the characters, she's F her. I'm not taking her back. She's gone too far. Eric's, I'm assuming talking about Mike Henry. Oh, yeah, I thought I recognized his voice. Archmage says, I would like to see an episode with a development of a transporter that actually reveals it does kill and replace you, and it deals with the ethics of it before deciding not to install them on the ships. Yeah, because that's what the transporters do on Star Trek. They make a copy of you, and they put the copy down. What happened to the original you? There's no original bits going when you're transporting. Apparently they worked it all out. It's all cool, whatever. But they just say that. That's just context. It's just a line of dialogue. Oh, it's all cool. But yeah, it's making a copy of you. What happened to the original you? And when you make a copy of something, it's not as sharp as the original. So it's getting duller and duller with every trip. Anyway, yes, on the Orville, if they finally come up with the technology, but then they decide it's not worth it because of ethics and morals, and not even ethics and morals, but a quandary on the ethics and morals of it. What is it doing exactly? We don't know, so we might as well not risk it. And they decide not to use the technology. That would be great. And that'd be a great commentary on Star Trek technology in the Orville. The animated series of Star Trek was produced in association with the original Paramount Television, now CBS Studios. Oh yeah, good old Paramount's and CBS has had their hands in Star Trek for a long time. Even back when they were the same company, I believe. I think that's what the situation was. And then they split and they said, okay, I don't know whatever deal. That deal was in trouble a couple of years ago, wasn't it? Remember all that? Yes, Kevin Scott. Free Guy is also hilarious and current. Free Guy, Ryan Reynolds movie. He's about an NBC that gains consciousness, and a whole slew of adventures happens because of that. It's so funny. If you're a gamer, it's even more funny. But even if you're not a gamer, it's pretty funny as well. That's on Disney Plus right now, I believe. If you have Disney Plus, very much worth watching. DJ says the Orville and the Venture Brothers are both shows I want to see renewed, revived, both different in every way, but both so good. The Venture Brothers, didn't they just recently come out with a new season after like a long break? I don't know if I'm correct on that. I don't follow the Venture Brothers, though I've seen a lot of the Venture Brothers way back in the day in the earlier 2000s. Jason G says, I'll admit it, my jaw dropped when it was revealed that Ed had a child with Talia. Yeah, it was his jaw dropped too, I think, if I recall. I actually just watched that scene last week. Just the scene. I was looking at something else and then the scene came up. I was like, oh, I'll stick around and watch it. Yes, What We Do in the Shadows is back on Hulu. I currently don't have Hulu right now. I actually canceled Disney Plus, but I still have it for another week or so, which is great because they're going to be getting Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 this Wednesday, day after tomorrow. So I'm going to watch that, and then I'll probably lose it. But I don't have Hulu right now either. I'm waiting for What We Do in the Shadows to finish their season, and then I'm going to re-up on Hulu. Because I always got to have my Hulu. I just don't have to have it every single month. But Hulu's got a lot of stuff on it I like, and I prefer Hulu's version of the Orville. I prefer streaming the Hulu version of the Orville than the Disney version. At least on my computer, the Hulu version is a much higher quality than the Disney version on my computer. And I care about the computer side of things because I need to take clips and things like that when I'm making Orville videos, like official Talking the Orville videos. So I want the higher quality. You get it. Quality. Eric Pullman, why did they make the decision not to have transporter tech in the beginning? They've addressed this. Some of it has to do with, well, now you're getting way too into the Star Trek IP. So Star Trek's really not going to like it. So they didn't do it that way, but they also didn't do it because they like it for writing. They didn't want to have it so that anytime they wrote themselves into a situation that they could just beam out. They actually have to figure out how to get out of that situation without just saying beam me up, and then they're able to get out of the situation. So they did it for writing better stories and to not step too much on the toes of Star Trek when it comes to all the technologies and stuff like that. I mean, transporters do exist in the Orville universe. The Caliban have them. Priya has them. Well, Priya's time in the 29th century. Ed even made a comment about it. The multiphasic planet people from the episode Mad Idolatry, they had transporters. I don't remember too many transporters really showing up anywhere else, like in season 2 or season 3. But anyway, season 1 had some transporters on them, but the Union doesn't have transporters. But I like the idea of them figuring out how to do transporters and then deciding not to use them for ethics reasons. That would be fun. That'd be something sci-fi fans would talk about after the fact. They would have arguments about it, and I think they'd all end up appreciating it. I think Leapshin says, I think Mike Henry playing a Captain Cleveland would be a real mind F. That would be like finding out Rick Astley isn't black. Oh my God. Don't tell Leapshin about Rick Astley, you guys. New movie, not season. The Venture Brothers, Radiant is the Blood of the Baboon Heart. Oh, they did a movie? Okay, not a season. That's different. And I know that Orville plans on doing a couple movies at some point. But I was pretty sure they're thinking about after they're fully done, no more seasons are going to be coming up, that they want to do some movies. Maybe they'll do 6 movies, 3 seasons and 6 movies. And then there'll be a spin-off series. And then when that spin-off series does a movie, they'll have a cameo from the Orville's Orville show to a cameo in that other series' movie. But it all takes place in the Union universe. Yeah, also when I get Hulu back, I'll be catching up on Futurama. Futurama is one of my shows, you guys. It's been a long time. I was there for the last new season they did. Now it's time for another one. Archmage Frey, I could see Isaac coming up with the transporter, but not understanding why organics would mind being a copy. That's it right there. I think that is the best way so far to go about it. Because Isaac's the one that always invents everything at some point. So he invents it, doesn't get the human side of things, and there's problems. Love it. What if he does it, he tests it on himself, everything's fine, then he does it on some random human, and it works, but their personality is not quite the same. There's ever so slight differences that other humans notice about the guy, the red shirt. He's different. He's not quite the same. Turns out it's because he's not the same. He was copied. Woot woot. Futurama, what's up, Mr. Tommy Pickles? What would you want in an Orville movie, though? Every episode now feels like a movie. That's true, too. At this point, if they put out a movie, it would just feel like an episode to me, because the new season, all the episodes are long, between 61 to 88 minutes long, and they're movie quality. They're already the quality of a movie. I guess it would just be a really good story with even more action. Yeah, I really don't even want movies, just for that exact reason. Chris Ricard, with the writers and actors strike, is Seth and team writing new stories on the side, or when the strike is over? Well, if they write, I've heard rumors that Seth has written down some stuff for a 4th season. I don't know exactly what that means. But if they're gonna write actual episodes like dialogue, Gordon says this, blah 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 blah, they'll have to wait. They have to wait until the strikes are over. Otherwise, they're breaking the rules of the strike. But we got some great writers with the Orville, and they might even bring on some more for a new season. But, we got Seth. He's the main dude. David A. Goodman, Brandon Braga, Andre Bormanis, Cherry. Almost no one could pronounce her last name, but Cherry Chevarabubla. She's also a writer for Family Guy and some of the animated stuff. And she has a new movie out that she wrote called Joyride. That looks pretty good. I saw the trailer for it yesterday. She's a writer, plus they have some other writers. I don't know this as a fact, but I kind of feel like Seth just comes up, he writes some episodes, but also comes up with the whole season, the idea of the season, and then the stuff that he can't get to, because he'll probably write like half of the season. He'll hand out to other writers and say, okay, you write this part. Here's what I want it to be, but you write it out and put in your flair and all that stuff. But I know he probably writes at least half of the episodes himself. But he probably does an outline for the whole season and then just sends out whatever assignments to the rest of the writing staff. Apparently, they drew up plans for Yaphet in season 4 after 3 was coming out. Yeah, I would think they probably have plans for that already. It would just make sense. It would just be the natural thing a human being would do that's involved with the show when something like that happens. Didn't Ensign Jones have a mole on his cheek? That mole's gone. It's on his butt now. Yeah, what if he has a mole on his cheek, you barely notice it, but then after he's transported, that mole is somewhere else, or just slightly somewhere else. Something that you would still not notice, and then they don't notice it until later on. Boom, that would be pretty cool. Yes, but I decided to correct his flaw during transport. Silly old Isaac. Yeah, is that possible? Could you make changes to someone's blueprint and correct it? I think you would, wouldn't you? Can Seth have others write supplemental material like books, etc. during the strike? This would help get a lot of attention to the show. I don't know. So one of you guys might have to know that. One of you guys might know that information. Sure, I know that the strikes, they apply to a lot of different things. Like with video games, you could still do the programmers and stuff could still keep on working, but they can't film anything. Would they be able to write anything, or is that part of the Writers Guild as well? I think with either the Writers Guild or with SAG, I think Nickelodeon has a whole separate deal. So the strike, I don't think applies to Nickelodeon products, Nickelodeon content. Oh, what does that mean for Star Trek Prodigy? Everyone's talking about that. If Nickelodeon doesn't have any restrictions and there's a Nickelodeon show, even though it's still a Paramount show, but it's a Nickelodeon show, does that mean they can actually still go in and make Star Trek Prodigy under Nickelodeon? I don't know. You guys are going to have to help figure that one out for me, because you guys, anything I don't know, which is a lot, someone in the chat knows, or they know how to go find out. But that's an interesting question, because Prodigy was canceled, supposedly, but then the strikes happened. And if Nickelodeon can still make stuff, they might decide to make more Prodigy, because what else are they going to do? They got nothing else they can do. Interesting. But I don't know, because there's the Orville comics, and the Orville comics are really good, and they are canon episodes. Written by David A. Goodman. Is David A. Goodman allowed to write comic books, or is that under the Writers Guild of America as well? If not, it would be great to have some new episodes of the comics, and then Dark Horse did all the art, and they put that all together. That would be interesting. Yeah, Prodigy is supposed to be done, but things change all the time. Yes, Prodigy was canceled, but things changed. Canceled doesn't mean canceled anymore. Remember, what's it called? What was the show with Skeet Ulrich on CBS about the apocalypse? That show was canceled, but they ended up getting another season after they were canceled because fans rallied, sent in a bunch of nuts, and they said, okay, we'll make another season. And they made another season, and then it got canceled. Sherry says, or is it Cherie? Cherie actually makes sense as well. I figure Prodigy will end up on Nickelodeon in January. Yeah, I know it was canceled, but things aren't always definite in Hollywood, especially now with the strikes going on. Now they're probably desperate to work on whatever they're allowed to work on. John Davis, I remember from the last writer's strike book, authorships is okay. Ooh, just no scripts. As to Prodigy and Lower Decks, they are a different union. So maybe things are able to be written in those areas. Jericho, that's exactly it, John Davis. Skeet Ulrich and others. Where all the world ended. I can't remember what the effects were. But the world ended. And little towns were going to war with each other. That's among the possibilities. Others included Netflix and the Comcast-owned Peacock. Good old Peacock. Peacock's my favorite. Peacock is my favorite. They got the things. I watch more stuff on Peacock than anything else. Yeah, I love Jericho. I also loved, what's the one from John Cassar, the apocalyptic show where all the electricity went out. Nuts. You guys know. All the power went out in the world. Like, power could not be made. Even if you had all the stuff together to make power, it wouldn't work. Revolution, I think. That's John Cassar, who's also one of the main dudes for the Orville. He directs a lot of the Orville, especially the last 2 seasons. But he's an executive producer. We love John. He's a great dude. He took a picture of me. I posted it forever ago. I'll have to find that picture. It's a great picture. He he shoots in black and white. So I was honored that he took a picture of me at the opening, at the IMAX premiere of the Orville season 3. Revolution was a good show, and that got canceled, I think, after 2 seasons. I found out years later my mom loved that show as well. I was like, Mom, you like that show? She's like, I love that show. And then it disappeared. I'm like, well, it got canceled. I was hoping that one would come back because I like that show a lot more than Jericho, and I like Jericho a lot. The nanobots shut it down. That's exactly what it was. Shh. Spoilers. And that was John Cassar. That's why that show was so good. I loved it. I thought that show deserved a movie. I mean, it doesn't have to be the cast or anything, just that same story, but make a movie of it. It'd be great. They just don't make they very rarely make big budget movies anymore unless it's a franchise. It's really sad. So every once in a while, I'll come across a movie that just came out that's really good, and it's big budget, but there's no way they would ever make a sequel to it. And I appreciate those movies. I miss the days where you can just see a movie, see an idea, and you don't have to think, oh God, they're going to make 3 or 4 of these things. Or they already announced sequels before the first one even comes out. I miss those movies. Because that was just people trying to make a good movie. They weren't trying to make a movie where it's like, okay, let's make it where we could stretch out this idea over the course of a few movies. The guy who was a Moff in Mandalorian was in it. I don't want to go back and watch that show now. I bet you my wife has never seen it. That'd be a show we can watch. Do my Orville songs still exist? I don't think they exist on this channel anymore. They don't exist on YouTube. I was thinking of on my website, because my website just needs so much work, you guys, and it's just so much to do. And when the other stuff isn't keeping the lights on, it's hard to say, "Oh, go work on the website," because what's that going to do? I was thinking of making a music section on the website that will have every song every Orville song I've ever done on it. I want to do a lot more with the website, because there's some things I can't post on YouTube anymore. YouTube's got a lot of rules. I can't put any songs unless I'm the creator of the song. I might be the creator of a parody, but I'm not the creator of the underlying track. So I'm not taking any risks with my channel, because I already got shut down a bunch of months ago for a bunch of months. And that is another reason it's hard to keep the lights on, is because that really messed me up a lot too. But yeah, I've put up a few on the Patreon page. But yeah, I think I'll make a whole page, because I have a bunch of ideas for the website of different pages for different content. Giancarlo Esposito. Yes, Gus. Yeah, Giancarlo, who played the super bad guy in season 2? I mean, he might still be in it. I don't remember what happened to him. He had the sword, that weird sword in the Mandalorian. Yeah, he played Gus Fring in Breaking Bad. Moth Gus. It's all coming back to me now, Curtis and Tommy. That's the guy, Giancarlo Esposito. For a second, right when I read that name, I just read Esposito first, and then I was thinking of, what's that Esposito that wrote the song, the Karate Kid song? You're the best around, nothing's gonna ever keep you down. The Dark Saber, that's right. It's been so long since I've watched any of that, I'm forgetting all these little buzzwords. Dark Saber. I'm barely even remembering what even happened in The Mandalorian. I never saw the season 3 yet. Did that come out? Yeah, I believe it came out. I haven't seen that yet. But I saw season 2, 1 and 2. Barely remember what happened in season 2. I remember Bill Burr had a much bigger role in season 2, and I loved it. And I was like, they should give his character a series. Yeah, you think Luke got him when he picked up Grogu? Grogu. My name's Grogu. All right, you guys, we've been having a great time here talking about the Orville, talking about the Star Wars, talking about the quantum leaps and the leapers. We didn't talk about Enterprise that much. I mentioned it really quickly. I love me some Enterprise, you guys. But it's probably time for me to get off of this thing and start getting things ready. The wife is going to be coming home soon. And there's certain things I like to make sure is cleaned up, aired out, whatever you got to do, so that when people come home, they don't throw up from smells and things like that. So, Lex Luthor. All right, I got to get out of the conversation. You guys, I want to thank you guys for showing up, having this great conversation about all the nerdy stuff that we love here. Thank you for your super chats. Thank you for your contributions to Egotastic FunTime. Don't forget to check out egotasticfuntime.com. You can support the channel with Patreon. Some of you became a member, and also PayPal. Thank you guys so much. Check out the merch. There's a bunch of Egotastic, Orville-tastic shirts for fans of the series and of this YouTube channel. But I'll see you guys very soon. And as always, I want you to remember, we all do better when we all do better. So go out there and do better. Love you. Bye-bye.